Hey, Megan Scully, and this is the Limerick Post Show. And joining me now, it's a Limerick singer-songwriter, John Steele. How are you keeping?
Good, good. How are you, Megan?
I'm very well, thank you. I have to ask, how's all out in Anacotty?
Pretty good. Snowy out here this morning, so the dogs are they're not used to it, but they're enjoying themselves running around the back.
Do you know what? I think it's great because whatever it is, like I have a sheepdog and she loves the snow. So I think I love
Yeah,
seeing dogs run around her because suppose for them it's probably so bright that they don't really know what it is.
yeah, and it's new. Like they're young, they're rescue dogs, so they've only I think they've only seen it once before, so it's just a surprise, you know.
Very
Um,
exciting, but I won't keep you too long, so you can get out and enjoy
sure.
the snow with the dogs. Talk to us about your music and I suppose your whole journey into being a musician. Like, where did it all begin for you?
A long, long time ago. I suppose I've been playing in lots of bands around Limerick for over 30 years, you know, from Joe Brown and the Dirty Dogs to filling in the O'Malley's and the Jaywalker. There's just too many. There's too many bands to. But it was kind of. I've been recording a long time, and I never. It's a disgrace. I never bothered to learn how to do it myself, because I always had a studio to go into, you know,
Yeah.
and you know it was just handy. It was lazy of me, but this year in lockdown, I realized how much I missed kind of missing up, meeting up with the lads and recording. So I kind of set myself a challenge to learn it, record, mix, and produce a solo album during lockdown, which I did. And I launched at a really, really stupid time in December. There's, you know, I mean, aside from lockdown, it was coming up to Christmas, and you know, I ignored everybody's advice. John, do not try and release an album in December. Um, but I did, and it was a real struggle because you know there's delays with CDs. So there was actually, I must apologize to several people. There were people going into FSV and Steamboat Music looking for my album, which wasn't there because it was delayed because of the Christmas period. So yeah, it's been a long journey for me, I suppose. You know, I suppose I'd be fairly well known in musical circles. I've done a lot, I've traveled a lot, but yeah, it's you know this year has been a real challenge, and I've nearly got the second album written now. I'm not going to release it for a while, but I think without this project, I would have, you know, it would have been a fairly bleak lockdown for me, you know, because my life revolves around my home life, obviously. You know, I'm a carer as well. I have a job, and but you know, the release was meeting up with the lads and
Yeah.
rehearsing and recording,
Yeah, it's
and
been so
of
interesting.
course
Like,
gigging.
I've been chatting to quite a lot of artists over the past year, and it's been just so interesting, I guess, to see how everyone has adapted and how everyone's had like that. Everyone was kind of like, oh, I just went into a studio with like a band, or I went into a studio with someone that I knew from, the music scene, and then
Yeah,
it's like suddenly you're all at home, and it's like, right, well, it's either I want to do this or I don't, and I suppose that's what you have to do. If you want to do it, you just have to learn. And I think it's been great because I think a lot of people like the definitely amount of music being produced during lockdown has been phenomenal around Limerick
mm,
and Ireland. And I think as well, it's I guess we've all picked up skills that we probably never would have made time for before. So if anything, the positives out of all this is that we get to upskill and to as you produced an album now as well, and you said you have a second one on the way. So it must be a pretty good feeling now being able to to see that from start to finish.
yeah, it is. You know, but it's, you know, you're absolutely right. The amount of top quality music, like it's not ever been a surprise to me because
Mhm.
I'm kind of an elder lemon now at this stage. But you know, I have always maintained that the band scene in Limerick has always been really healthy.
Yeah.
We've always produced top-notch bands, you know, and we still are. It's never been healthier, you know. I'm like I can't claim to, you know, forensically follow the hip hop scene, but I'm loving what I'm hearing coming out from people like Hazy Hayes and Denise Chila, and God knows I've met God knows a load of times. We didn't work together, but we met during the recording of the Pigtown Fling and the later performance, you know. and he's just a force of nature. You know, there was never any doubt. You've got people like Emma Langford, and I think she is she's inspirational, because I really think that if you need, that's a lesson in what you need to do. You know, there's no point. You could write the best song ever written, and nobody is ever going to hear it unless you're going to put in the work. And the minimum, well, she puts in the maximum, obviously, but the work she puts in is really the litmus test. It's like she's phenomenal. I've got nothing but respect for her. Brilliant singer, brilliant musician, brilliant arranger, and she works like hell. You know, so it has been like I've been inspired by that. And you know, you're right as well with picking up new skills. And I think people would save themselves a lot of frustration and heartache if they, you know, everybody's passionate about something. It could be sport, it could be cooking, you know. There are ways around the desperation here, and I know it's tough for people with young families, you know, trying to homeschool and everything, but there are positives, you're right, and it's good to look at the positive side of that. So I'm happy. Sorry, I'm rambling on here.
No,
I'm happy
absolutely.
with
No,
the album.
I think you mentioned some great names there, and you know, a good few of them have been on the show here. And you know, this thing, Limerick is like absolutely, it always was a really talented place for musicians and music producers and singers and songwriters and everything. But it's, and again now it's like the crowd that you all mentioned, it's just constant now, and it's brilliant. I think Limerick is really making a stamp on the Irish music scene for what it's producing from so many different genres as well, which is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But I want to stick back to you now and your new single, Stranger Days Than These. So am I right in saying that's to do with the lockdown, or what's the story behind that track?
No, it's not, and I get why you would say that. You know, it's I've actually been kind of learning to play piano during lockdown, so I wanted to do something with piano, but I have kind of 20-second bursts of competence on piano at the moment. So I kind of tied it all together into this lovely little melody. And I was just thinking about, you know, people that you know, I suppose it kind of is a little bit about the pandemic. You know, I used to love those nights, you know, where it's been after a great gig, you're finished at a party, and you're maybe kind of sitting outside at night with somebody that means a lot to you, you know, and you're kind of, you know, it's one of those things that, like, it doesn't seem like the morning's ever going to get there, and you really don't want it to. You know, it's one of those nights that you just don't want to end. You know, so I didn't like a lot. There's a lot of dark material on the album, and I wanted to put something bright and kind of, you know, nobody wants darkness all the time. And in
Yeah.
addition to that, my bandmate in the Flag Listeners, Eamon Heher, had put out this beautiful song called Bird Song, and he couldn't be the only one in the band bringing on a beautiful song, so I had to do something.
Of course, the album All My Days as well, and I said you did launch back in December, but sure, as I said, I think I launched a book myself in the start of the year, so there's no I think during a lockdown there's no real like end date to these sort of things. You know what I mean? You can bring them out, but you can kind of almost keep them going for a good while until you bring out your second album. So the whole second album or the first album, I should say, it's all self-produced and everything throughout the lockdown. And like, how have your like you know the people that follow your music, how have they been taken to it?
It's got really, it's been really well received, you know, which is great, you know, and like it's a lot to take on yourself, you know, and you're kind of playing everything on it. But you know, my old bandmate in the Flag Listeners, Tony Brennan, you know, was a big help. Eamon Harr was a big help, and you know, Aileen Downs at Brian Birmingham. Aileen sings beautifully on the current single, and on one of the other singles from the album. You know, so yeah, it's been very well received. It's got a nice bit of airplay, and you know, people are really supportive about it, which is really good. You know.
Absolutely incredible. John, where can we find you on social media or online to keep up to date with all your music and of course the second album?
Yeah. I wouldn't advise going near my Facebook. Yeah, it's just I don't. This is a really good question because I need to get that sorted out. I have a YouTube channel that I've just put out there. That's probably the best way. Everything's up there. and Bandcamp.
Yeah.
If you search for me on Bandcamp, but the album is available on all online platforms. So, like, if you want a physical copy, Steamboat or FSV. So yeah, I'm a qualified web designer and I don't have a website, so that's another thing that I've got to address.
That'll be your next challenge. So
yeah,
next time we
exactly.
talk,
Thanks,
you
Meghann.
better have a website for us.
Yeah. Yeah, and I must say that Flag Listeners, my band, is we've got some music coming out soon as well. So it's all good. It's all musical.
Absolutely busy time. John Steele, it's an absolute pleasure chatting to you in the Limerick Post Show and
you
to learn more about your music and all these talents you've picked up. And as I said, next time we speak, I'll be asking you for your website.
Yeah, and I'll have it for you.
Great.
Thanks a million, Meghann. It's lovely
Thank
to
you.
talk to you. Bye now.